We look to the heavens, boundless, and bright. In these stars, we look to the heavens for hope, guidance in a world of uncertainty. Within our universe, a mighty star shines bright over us and reflects itself to enlighten our darkness. It is from that star that our very molecules are born, boundless and bright. That mighty star commands a universe of stars that bear witness to our history and are attached to our ideas of the future. In these stars, we find our beginnings. In these stars, we learn of our endings. In these stars, in these stars.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of In the Stars with Dwayne. I'm your host, Dwayne Dunleavy, and it is March 2022, so that means it's Pisces season. That's right. Some of you may know a Pisces, you may be a Pisces. If so, that means you were born between February 19th and March 20th. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, so that means it's the one right before the first sign, which is Aries, which we're going to delve into later. But we're going to start with our Pisces traits today. And these water signs, these fish, are really usually great, fun, creative people. One of the things that really encapsulate Pisces is sensitivity. So if you know a Pisces, chances are there's something about their character that makes them very sensitive. They don't usually like loud noises. They don't like loud, crazy people. They tend to really like to be on their own or around people that make them feel comfortable. They're also known as the most colorful sign. If you know a Pisces, you know that they probably are interested in any item that has lots of bright color involved with it. They also love music. Music is a huge thing for Pisces, and a lot of musicians, people that we know that are famous, are Pisces. And so anybody who is in a band, people who are Pisces usually love to be around musical people, even if they themselves are not musicians or singers. Their planets that they rule are Neptune and Jupiter. So that means that they are usually, and usually there's only one planet, but it can be multiple planets. So Neptune and Jupiter are the planets of success and feeling, of psychic abilities and of progression forward. So that's how they are involved with Pisces. Now, every sign has its strengths and its weaknesses. We've talked about a few of the Pisces strengths, which are they are compassionate, sensitive. They're usually artistic in some way, not just in music, but in other visual artistic ways. They're very intuitive, like I said, with their sensitivity, but also intuitive psychically. Like they can pick up how you're feeling usually without you having to say anything to them. Pisces also have to be very careful about the groups of people or people that they're around out in public, because it's not just the people that they know and care about that they can feel things or get energy and information from. It's anybody they're around. So if you're a Pisces, you really need to make sure that you're thoughtful of how you cleanse your spirit energy and your soul whenever you get home from being out in public. Now, that can be done in many different ways. We talked a little bit about it in our last episode, but in this one, we can dive into a little bit more on how you do it. So a sage stick is like a bundle of sage, the plant sage. It's dried up and it's made into a bundle, and you can usually get it anywhere, but online is probably the easiest way to get it. And it's only like a couple of dollars. It's not very expensive. It comes in about this big, and it's wrapped up with some string. And what you do is you put that you make sure you have a fireproof receptacle of some sort, a bowl or an ashtray. You light the end of it you get rid of the flame and allow it to just smoke. And that smoke is a cleansing, healing smoke. So you can actually just put it all around you, up and down your limbs and your body, and you want to think positive thoughts. Now, if you don't want to go that far, as a Pisces, you might be like, I don't really feel like doing that much stuff. So if you're a Pisces who's feeling like that and you don't want to get a sage stick, you can do this simply by relaxing your body and using your hands to go over every part of your body, while in your mind imagining any negative energy or dark energy or any kind of negativity being taken away from your body. And you just imagine yourself in your brain, what it looks like to have that dark energy removed. And that is enough to get the negative energy off of you, because sometimes you're not even in charge of when it comes to it's going to come to you. So if you're a Pisces, especially a Pisces who says and believes that they do feel things very, very intensely, those are the people that are most susceptible to getting the negative energy. Now, they tend to be gentle people. They are very wise too. People who are Pisces usually give really good advice because they're usually coming from a place of sensitivity and of feeling. So they usually tend to have really good, wise advice. And on the musical side, usually anybody who is a Pisces and involved in music can usually pick up even the slightest difference in notes. They're usually great at pitch and hitting the right notes and all of that stuff. So you'll find a lot of Pisces in the musical industries of the world, even backstage and in studios and that kind of thing. Now, some of the weaknesses that Pisces is known for can be being fearful. And of course, from a sign that is so sensitive, they can tend to be fearful that things are, or people are, not always having the best desires or, outcomes for them. And so they have to be very careful. They can also be overly trusting, which is kind of like weird, because if you think of someone who's fearful, them being overly trusting is not something that comes up right away. But the thing is that if somebody allows them to feel comfortable, they tend to trust them. So even if somebody doesn't have the best intentions, and they understand that they can get to a Pisces by being more intent on their feelings and things like that, they can work their way in. So it's very important for Pisces to keep that in mind, that just because somebody's nice to you doesn't mean you have to trust them completely. Pisces are also prone to being sad. So if you know a Pisces, you may know sometimes they end up being really sad because they can take on the negative feelings of the world. They can see things in a negative way because they feel like if people are not nice to other people, that can be sad to them, that can be hurtful to them. Especially when it comes to children. So if you are a Pisces parent, a mom or a dad, you may be hypersensitive to what your child is going through on a daily basis. And sometimes that can also be detrimental, because sometimes the kids need to understand that not everything is always nice and sweet and fun. But that is something that Pisces always has to deal with, is that constant back and forth between what is reality and what the way things should be in their mind. Now, if you notice, if you look at the astrological wheel of astrology, you'll notice that each of the signs has its own symbol. The symbol for Pisces, which is coming up right now, if you look on the wheel next to that blue planet, which is Neptune, you're going to see that it is the symbol of two fish swimming in opposite directions. That's what those lines mean. But if you look at other symbols of Pisces, you'll see there's an actual fish usually, but sometimes it just looks like a big H up there on the left. It's two fish swimming in opposite directions. And what that symbolizes is the Pisces constant back and forth swimming between the world of fantasy and the world of reality. So in reality, they know they have to deal with certain things like mean people, loud noises, sudden, crazy acts happening around them. But they will always constantly try to figure out a way to escape that reality. So Sometimes they can also be known to run away or get away from situations that they just know they're not going to be happy in. If this happens in a relationship, obviously you can imagine that can cause some problems. So the best advice for Pisces is sometimes, especially when it comes to romance or in a relationship, Pisces should remember that while there may have been an incident in the moment where everything's kind of crazy and not fun, it's going to move on. This too shall pass, and allow yourself to think separately about the situation. Now, the compatibility of Pisces is interesting. In every one of the astrological symbols, there are different greater compatibilities than certain other signs. So while Pisces, it gets along with everybody usually, they get along with all of the signs, unless it's somebody who is very, very loud and obnoxious, but that can happen through any sign. Pisces tend to really, the love compatibility is going to be Virgo and Taurus. Those are going to be your greatest compatibility. And it doesn't just have to be romantic. It can actually be just a friend who is a Virgo or a Taurus that you're going to get along with. But the reason for this is because Pisces is a water sign. Water, the element itself, is not finite, meaning water without a glass is just a blob of water. It can go anywhere. Whereas the earth signs, Virgo and Taurus, are very stable. They're very in line with what they want and what they know needs to happen and that kind of a thing. So what happens is the Pisces really loves that stability. They love that somebody can kind of hold that water and they can still be themselves, but they have kind of like a limit that they won't go past. And they learn what those limits are with Virgos and Tauruses, because the Virgos and Tauruses are not shy about telling you about what those limits are. So now, the other symbols or traits that Pisces tend to have is that they love to have conversations about spirituality, and not anything specific, not like a certain religion or anything. Basically, they love to talk about anything that has to do with understanding what other people feel and think, and how those people and other people can live together. All of that kind of stuff is interesting to a Pisces. So if you're trying to get a Pisces into a conversation, best thing to do is bring up something spiritual. And again, it doesn't, and actually most times you don't want to go with your traditional religions and things like that to talk to a Pisces. Usually it's more about individual or personal spirituality. How do you feel about a certain thing or subject? How do you feel about life being a certain way? And they will pop right in there, and they love to talk about that. Another interesting thing about Pisces is that they are fish, and they tend to love to swim. So if you have a little kid that's a Pisces, chances are that kid loves swimming as much as possible, to the point where the skin gets wrinkled on their little fingers and you have to get them out of the pool. So don't be surprised if your little Pisces is a big swimmer and loves to be in the water. That is a very common thing for Pisces. Now, another thing for Pisces, I mentioned it earlier, but it's something definitely to consider if you have a Pisces in your life, is sometimes they like to be alone. And in fact, this happens across all of the water signs. There comes times in every water sign's life, whether it's Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio, that they just decide it's just the need to be alone at that moment. And no matter what else is happening around them, they need to be alone at that moment. With Scorpio, sometimes it happens for days. With Pisces, it usually lasts one day or so, where they need to just be alone, and the people around them, whether they're romantic partners, family members, work people that they work with, tend to think, oh, well, did I do something wrong? Is there something I can do to help? And really, there's nothing anybody can do to help a Pisces who needs to be alone. That's a person who is feeling things so intensely that they just know there's no way to even explain with words how they're feeling to another human being. So they decide to be on their own, be alone, and usually they'll like to do something that calms them down. Watch a movie, read a book, go for a walk. But they do like to do it alone, and it has nothing to do with anybody else. So if you have a Pisces in your life and they just once in a while want to be alone, don't be worried. It's just a thing that they need to do themselves. Now, a lot of famous people are Pisces. As I said, they are artistic people, and a lot of times in music, Rihanna, Timbaland, Justin Bieber are just a few of the celebrities who are Pisces. And you can see and hear in their music with these people how intensely they feel their emotions. So that's a great thing to keep in mind. Steve Jobs, Albert Einstein, Daniel Craig, Floyd Mayweather, the fighter, which that's an interesting one. I'd love to see his chart, because somebody who punches other people, it's not a very Pisces thing, but he must have other things in his chart. All of these people are people that have very intense feelings. And so it's interesting to go ahead and look at their charts. And in fact, some celebrities, you can go out there and look at online, but some celebrities have posted their own astrological charts. So if you have a favorite celebrity, you can go out there and check out when they were born and find out what their entire chart is, and then match it up to their life, because the majority of the people that are celebrities who have lived their whole life in the spotlight are their whole life is out there, so you can kind of match it up and see how it works and if they fall into that. Now, the lucky numbers of Pisces, we talked about it in our last episode, but I know you Pisces want to hear it again. 3, 9, 12, 15, 18, and 24 are the lucky numbers for Pisces. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean go out and buy a lottery ticket with those numbers, although couldn't hurt, I guess. But these numbers are things you want to keep in mind for dates, for travel, for dates that you want to sign. You want to sign a contract when you buy a house. If you're buying a car, you want to do it on a day that matches up with your lucky numbers. And so that can be a really great thing to keep in mind. The power colors for Pisces are actually, there's a lot of them. Most of the signs have 1 or 2 at most, but the Pisces have 4 and sometimes 5, whereas mauve, sometimes people don't believe that that's an actual color in itself. It's like a pinkish purple. But because of that, lilac, purple, violet, and sea green are all Pisces power colors. So let's say you're a Pisces and you're about to go to an interview. If you have a top or a dress or a jacket or something that has even just a little bit of that color in it, or let's say you're wearing a black blazer and you wear a lilac shirt underneath it or a sea green shirt underneath it, that's going to be your best chance to use your power color to give you the power that you need in that specific situation. Now, like I said earlier, Pisces rules those colors, but they love a lot of colors. So you can actually see in some Pisces lives, they wear too much color. Now, that's a matter of opinion, obviously, but when it comes to people that don't want to attract too much attention from outside, especially from people who might not be nice or whatever, bright colors and multiples of them is not probably the best way to go. So if you're a Pisces who wears lots of different colors, just think about, is that obtaining what you want to attain, attention or that type of a thing? If not, then bring it down to 1 or 2 colors and use one of your power colors and see if things change. It's amazing how the power colors work, because as I've said in another episode, you don't necessarily love your power color. Now, I happen to love my power color, which is purple, as you can see in my background, and I like to use purple whenever I'm doing readings, tarot readings or energy readings, because I feel like it gives me a lot of power, and it definitely works for me. For the Pisces, again, color's great, but you want to keep it to a minimum, and you want to keep it to your power colors. Your day of the week, if you're a Pisces, is Thursday. So how can that help you? Well, maybe you're trying to figure out, what day should I start working out? Or what day should I make that roast I've been wanting to make, or that recipe? Thursday is going to be the best day to set up anything for something new, okay? For something that you've done before on other days, maybe that aren't working out great, that's another opportunity to try it out on a Thursday, because that's your power day. Every single one of the signs has all these different areas of color, a planet, even sometimes there's a note, a musical note. There's all kinds of different things attached. Did you know also there are actually cities have their own astrology? New York City is a Cancer city because it was, I believe the word is ratified, or it was created during the time of Cancer. So it's interesting that each city even has its own sign attached to it. If you are Pisces and you are one of those really sensitive people who loves music, who loves art, then some of the career choices that you might want to think about are art in itself as a career, or as a teacher of art, music teacher. You can also, even working at a place that sells musical instruments is going to be something that will be great for a Pisces. Now, as I said earlier, some of the downfalls of Pisces are trying to escape reality, but that can actually also be a benefit. Imagine somebody who is a Pisces who constantly is finding themselves trying to escape whatever negative reality they're going through. Could be a great actor or actress. That's the way you want to think of these different types of traits of the signs. Now, our next episode is going to be about Aries, because Aries starts on March 21st, and we want to definitely hit each of the signs. Now, Aries is a fire sign. Pisces is a water sign. Now, normally, fire and water, you would think that's not going to work out, but that's not how it really works. Although Aries can be a little bit too loud and energetic sometimes for Pisces. So if you're an Aries and you happen to have a Pisces in your life, and at times they seem to be, their feelings get hurt easily and all of that kind of stuff, that can happen very easily with Aries, because Aries are go-getters. They like to get things done. They're fire. They don't mess around. If they want something, if anybody is in their way, they better move because Aries is not going to let you stand in the way of any of their growth or movement toward anything that they want. Aries is also, it's a fire sign, but it is also a fixed fire sign. And the fixed fire sign means that it is the most fiery of all the fire signs. So there's Leo, Sagittarius. All of these are signs that fire means movement, production, creation. It means making something new where there was nothing before. So the Aries tends to be the most of that energy, and then it works its way down to Leo and then to Sagittarius. Sagittarius is a mutable sign. That's my sign. And that means that it can kind of adapt more. Aries is ruled by the planet Mars, which is the planet of war. And the way I like to explain that is that if you are an Aries and there are people around you who you feel are not on your side or out for your best interest, then that means they are on the other side and they are against you and they must be destroyed. Now, it doesn't go to that extreme all the time, but that's the basic idea of it. Aries also, it rules the color red. So if you're an Aries and you wear red, you are at your most powerful. And, you know, I have yet to have met an Aries who doesn't like red. Whereas I meet other people, sometimes Libras don't like green, and that's their color. But I've never met an Aries who has ever said, oh, I don't like red. They tend to love red, and when they wear it, they are just unstoppable. They are also known to be very fiercely loyal. So just like a Pisces is very loyal too, when they meet people that really are nice people who make them feel good, they are extremely loyal to them. Well, Aries takes it to another level. Aries will literally fight for the ones that they love. They are definitely a sign that is associated with military, with fighting in itself, winning. They are not the kind of person who will lose and just be like, oh, that's no problem, I lost, so what? They really like to win usually. They also have great taste. Aries have great taste, usually in home things, decorative items, paintings, antiques, that kind of stuff. So if you ever want to have somebody go along with you to help decorate your home, and Aries is a great choice. They're also really good with food and recipes if they're into it. If not, then they're not very good. But if they are passionate about food, an Aries chef is almost unbelievably talented. So if you are an Aries who loves to make food, your friends and family usually will know that that's going to be some really good food. We're going to delve much deeper into Aries in our next episode. But these are the basics. Aries is fire. They are fixed sign. They are the planet Mars, the planet of war. They are fiercely loyal and really talented in whatever they are passionate about, and nobody can stand in their way. So we're going to dive deeper into their symbolism, more of their strengths and weaknesses, and we'll talk about more people that are famous who are Aries. And believe me, there are a lot of famous Aries in the world. You're going to be very, very surprised at who is an Aries and how far they've gone in their lives, and how hard they've worked to get there. So Pisces, it's been great. Thank you so much for being yourselves, for being the sweet, sensitive people that you are, the artistic, color-loving people who just love to have a drink, go for a swim, and party with some nice people. So happy birthday to all of you Pisces out there, and to all of you upcoming Aries. Don't forget to join us for our next episode of In the Stars with Dwayne. And I am your host, Dwayne Dunleavy. Thank you all so much for watching, and I look forward to the next time. Keep looking up in the stars.